Hello everybody, today we're going to look at the top upcoming strategy games of 2020 that I'm really excited for, that I think everybody here should be excited for. I'll go through the list of my picks and then afterwards I'll do the honorable mentions at the end. At number 10 we have Builders of Egypt, a strategy game that I've always kind of wanted to look at, mostly because I just love the time period of ancient Egypt. I would love to see the setting explored more so, and this game kind of fulfills my niche of modern city builder with ancient Egypt in mind. And I currently love the idea for it, but so far there has only been like a dev blog shown off and not a lot of information from the developer, which is why it's so low on the list. And also stacked up to its competition, it's really low on my radar, but seeing a game just in this time period has me excited. Next on the list is the Command & Conquer Remaster, whenever that comes out in 2020, and I'm excited for this because of the Command & Conquer game. It's getting remastered, getting shown off to everybody, all the masses. Except I feel like there was already an aspect of that already on the internet that would be an open RA. But at least with the remaster, what I hope to see is that the ability you could switch between the classic mode and the remaster mode, as well as being able to enjoy it at higher resolutions, which is something open RA can do. But in the Command & Conquer Remaster, we might see some more unique assets being drawn in. Hopefully the remaster leads on to a general 0-hour remaster, which is what I'm most excited for, and maybe just more Command & Conquer games in a similar good style. I might not show off as much excitement towards this game, mostly because I feel like Open RA already satisfies that, but that's just something that I'm used to. Next would be Stronghold Warlords, which is by the same creators as the previous Stronghold games. I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited about this mostly because the idea of using different Asian factions has piqued my interest. However, the previous Stronghold game was kind of meh, and what I saw of the alpha that I've played already, which a lot of people have been able to access, has not been that favorable. However, I will probably see, and we will all see as time develops, that the game becomes more and more structured, and maybe something of the classic games, or maybe something just way better than what Crusader 2 brought to the field. More campaigns for the 3 different factions, as well as more maps and skirmishes. And also the ability to do multiplayer and modding as soon as the game is released would also be really nice as well. Now, Age of Empires 4 is another game that I'm also excited for. We did get to see a little bit of footage of it, but we still don't have a clear definitive look at the gameplay, as well as just like a better understanding of what we can expect. All we know is that it is set somewhere in the medieval time period, and as well as aping on a lot of Age of Empires 2, but improving upon it, making it so that each of the civilizations are unique with their own unique units and bonuses and different play styles. But again, we don't know a lot of information, and what you could get is something that you could get from a YouTube video or just from like a particular blog or article. We'll probably see more from Age of Empires 4 as time goes on, but for now I'm just leaving it pretty low because we still don't know. In addition, I'm probably not the biggest fan of the medieval time period, but I don't really know how Age of Empires 4 was going to extend beyond maybe Revolutionary period into World War I, akin to Victoria 2, but we'll have to see. Iron Harvest, I currently have played a lot of this so far, and from what I love about it, it is basically, some would say it was Company of Heroes with mechs. It's a little bit of a disservice to both of the games. I feel like Iron Harvest is shaping up more and more to be this mech-based tactical shooter, but I just wish, from what I've been able to play around with and test out in the game with the high resources and high population, that it was more massive scale. It was better ways to select multiple different squads that have these massive conflicts with mechs, and you know, these 3 different factions fighting it out that have these Russian, Polish, and German influence on this diesel puck technology that all these factions utilize. It's pretty great from what I've played, and I would like to see more, and I think that more people should be excited for it. Don't discount it for using ideas like Company of Heroes. A lot of games have done that, and I don't think they're rip-offs or clones at all. I'll admit, Crusader Kings 3 on my 5th list probably wasn't going to be my first pick, but I did get really excited for what was going to be the time period of medieval Europe and East Africa, as well as the Middle East and Central Asia, India, all these places, and trying to build it up from the ground up. In that way, I feel like maybe they could right a lot of the wrongs that Crusader Kings 2 has, maybe have a more complete experience without a million DLCs tacked onto it. That's really what I'm more excited for, and seeing what kind of different ideas they can utilize. And for people who don't want to play a giant map simulator, there's Knights of Honor, which is basically a grand strategy Crusader Kings 3, but with an RTS gameplay component to it, akin to that of Total War. I'm really excited for this one. I really think this is going to be a good entry, and it's going to be something that I'm going to play a lot of. I would love to see these more grand strategy games come out that are medieval times that don't have the Total War aspect to it. I'm not really the biggest fan of Total War and how it plays, and I think like different games could definitely chime in and have their own unique twist on it. Knights of Honor, you can play the original, but I will have that up soon for my channel. I can't believe I haven't even tried it out. And you can even also watch, you know, some of the gameplay of it right now that's being shown off. It's very similar to the original game, so we'll have to see how it pans out. But if you like the original, odds are it might just be better, or at least just as good. Third is Homeworld. Now, I was a little bit hesitant to put Homeworld because it's not Deserts of Karak. It's going to be something that's akin to what is Homeworld 1 and 2 and Cataclysm, where we will see this return to 3D space RTS. The Kickstarter for it was already funded, the crowdsource. They already funded beforehand, but this was additional funding being brought in. So we'll have to see how that plays into additional development and how Homeworld 3 shapes out. But from what we know of the information, it's going to harken back to what made Homeworld 1 and 2 and all the space Homeworlds really good. I was looking forward to personally more deserts, but maybe Homeworld would reignite like more deserts content eventually in the future. And Homeworld itself is an excellent game that I would love to see again, but we'll have to see how this funding period turns out and what becomes of Homeworld later on. Next is The Settlers, which is a game that I grew up playing, Settlers Rise of an Empire, and I love the economics of that a lot with the grand production lines, and that led me on to the other Settlers games, and those are very excellent. This like ability to be able to plan out a city while also planning out the resource management as well as the item creation with your own little village there. It's like you could be able to see a Victoria 2 economy just without all the spreadsheets, and instead looking at the people. You can zoom down into the battlefield and command armies as well, which was always an awesome thing about Settlers. Now, I would like to see this new take on the Settlers being brought, and I'd love to get my hands on it. It looks excellent, absolutely gorgeous, and it plays very much like any of the Settlers games, with this resource management and allocation being brought to all the differing locations to create a more finished product more so. I just love the fact that this is being brought into 2020, and we'll get to see Settlers in 2020. This old style of RTS and city planning build. The honorable mentions are, of course, WARCRAFT 3 Reforged. I've already been able to play it. You've been able to play it if you wanted to. Basically, there is a beta open to everybody, so you can make your own opinion on it. Total War Saga I put on honorable mentions because I'm not really a big fan. I don't like the Greek time period. I feel like we've already seen that with Rome 2. And I would have much preferred a different location. Finally, Gears Tactics, because I am a big Gears fan. I would love to see this Gears strategy game and how it would play out. And what I've seen, it is kind of like a tactics game almost. But again, I'm a little bit hesitant until I see more information. The last game on the list would be Humankind, a strategy game that's very similar to Civilization and Endless Legend, brought to you by the Endless Legend, Endless Space developers, and that's really what I wanted to put on this list most of all, because this game I'm excited for the developers I have supported before on my channel, as well as being able to indulge in Endless Legend for hours and hours and hours on end. And I think the Civilization mechanics in that are much stronger than even the new Civilization 6 entry, even though Civilization 6 takes a lot from Endless Legend in its district system, with that being what originally made that district system possible. I really think that Endless Legend's influence on Humankind is going to make it into a much better game. The combat I'm a little bit iffy on. I think it's going to play out like Endless Legend more so. And the good thing about Civ was that it was easy to flow between combat and non-combat, whereas Endless Legend, I wasn't a big fan of it. It was a little bit divisive, I'd have to say. Sometimes I would feel like I would love it, but other times I wouldn't. But we'll have to see how this translates into Humankind. And in addition to this, I love the fact that it's going off of not really who's the biggest empire, but who leaves the most legacy behind, the different ways that you can win in Humankind. As well as the fact that you have these civilizations that build off of each other. So you could be the Romans 1 minute and then become the Egyptians another minute, and then afterwards be the Mongols the next. You could become different civilizations and adapt their traits and build up on that culture. And that really has to be my picks for the top 20 strategy games that I'm excited for, that I think you should be excited for. If you want to see more content like this, let me know, and as always, bye bye.